The rise and fall of Belgium, from the hopers to world number one. This is the chronicle of the rise and fall of Belgium's golden generation. A generation that reached the top without achieving anything, and could now go down to be remembered for all but nothing. Rolling back to the years of 2009, Belgium were as low as 66th in the FIFA World Rankings. However, by 2015, they had risen to number one, and also were top in consecutive years between 2018 and 2021, before dropping to their current status at number 2. The 2018 World Cup in Russia featured the greatest achievement of Belgium's national team. Their stats to the team of players such as Thibaut Courtois, Vincent Kompany, Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard, and Romelu Lukaku were at their best. They won 6 of their 7 games to claim the 3rd position against England. Coming to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, they came with a high hope of being able to surpass their initial best. However, that would not be. After this scrappy opening game win against Canada, their skipper Kevin De Bruyne came out saying that the team had missed their chance of winning the World Cup for 4 years. And as if he had seen the future, they ended up losing their second game to Morocco and played a goalless draw with Croatia in their final group game. With that, their campaign was over, but beyond that, it was also the end of their golden generation. In international football, Belgium is less weighty than its neighbors, which are the Netherlands and France. This rings no surprise, considering that Belgium has a fewer population of only 11.5 million, compared to the Netherlands, 17.5 million, and France, 67.5 million. The Netherlands produced a team that rose to the peak of FIFA rankings. When they were ranked at the first in world football, the Red Devils became the only team to have achieved this feat without winning either a Continental or World Cup. But proving into how they got here, their performances and achievements in the 2014 World Cup, 2016 Euros, 2018 World Cup and 2020 Euros come quickly into the mind. Belgium's golden generation embarked on their journey to greatness on the global stage of the World Cup in Brazil 2014. The likes of Hazard and Kevin De Bruyne were just approaching the stardom of their career. Eden Hazard was 23, Kevin De Bruyne was 22, and Romelu Lukaku was 21. With these very promising young talents, the Belgian football fraternity had the confidence that if not this year, they would at least lift the trophy before the dawn of the career of their rising stars. They also had brilliant teenagers like Adnan Januzaj and Divock Origi, who were just breaking through to the center stage. As expected of such a team, they performed well in the group stage and won all their 3 group matches. They also beat Russia in the round of 16 with a lone goal from Divock Origi, who scored in the 88th minute of the game. The win booked their slot in the quarterfinal for the first time since 1986, where they ended up in 4th position. They played Argentina in the quarterfinal, where Gonzalo Higuain was Argentina's hero with a well-struck and decisive early goal that took La Albiceleste to a 1-0 victory over the brave Belgium team. Though disappointed, the Belgian team had done something that's not often seen in their history. More so, they had age on their side. In the 2016 Euros, the squad had matured. They were defeated by Italy in their opening game but followed that up with 2 wins to qualify for the knockouts. In their round of 16 match, they blew away Hungary 4-0 with Michy Batshuayi, Eden Hazard and Yannick Carrasco all finding the net, but they could not go further than the quarterfinals. This time it was a less talented Wales team that ended their dream, with a screamer from Raja Nainggolan. The Red Devils slipped to a 3-1 defeat against Wales to bow out. Fast forward to the heroic 2018 World Cup, which went down as the greatest achievement from the golden generation, although Belgians believed that it was still below the standards of the team as the target was gold. As the tournament kicked off in Russia, Belgium crossed the first hurdle with a 100% win rate from the group stage. They made a shock in the round of 16 against the Blue Samurai of Japan. With just 20 minutes left to be played, Belgium were 2-1 behind, but Marwan Fellaini's equalizer and a 94th minute winner from Chadli sent them to the quarter-final. This time they surpassed their 2014 record with a glorious 2-1 win against the Samba Boys of Brazil. The Golden Generation had equaled the record held by the 1986 team, making it only the second time the nation would be playing in the semi-final of the World Cup. With one game left from playing in the final of the World Cup for the first time, an expectation of laying their hands on their much-coveted trophy, Belgium went against France with full force in the semi-final. Sadly, it ended up in tears for the entire nation as the 51st minute header from Samuel Umtiti sent France to the final. Belgium would then be facing England in the fight for third place. The memory of 1986 4-2 loss to France surrounded the nation as they prepared for the game. They had to quickly recover from the pain of the semi-final loss to France to seal a third-place victory and cement their names in the history of Belgium's football forever. The Golden Generation was playing England for the second time in the campaign after they had first defeated them in the group stage. This time again, they had a 2-0 victory and won the bronze medal. As for the Euros of 2020, it was a mix of several factors. Some players in the squad were past their peak, and some still have their sparks. In all, the team had to justify their first-place FIFA ranking with at least a continental trophy. If that would happen, the only opportunity left for the Golden Generation in the 2020 Euros. The team cruised past Russia, Denmark and Finland in the group stage to book their place against defending champion Portugal in the round of 16. This time the team had to rely on a first-half strike by Thorgan Hazard to see them through to the quarter-final. At the Allianz Arena in Munich, it was Belgium against Italy in the quarter-final. Goals from Niccolò Barella and Lorenzo Insigne put the daggers in the Belgian hearts. And again, Belgium is out of another Euro in the quarter-final. Ahead of the 2022 World Cup, the Golden Generation had reached at least quarter-finals in 4 major competitions in 8 years, and they can still hope again that the 2022 World Cup could be the year that they had all been waiting for. But it's also tricky, because it would be the last dance for most of their stars. Vincent Kompany, their veteran defender, has already retired, and also their talented midfielder Moussa Dembele. Others like Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld and Axel Witsel are expected to have also joined the list of their retired stars before the next World Cup in 2026. The similarly talented Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard and Romelu Lukaku also doubt if they can still be in good shape ahead of 2026. So if there would be any miracle, it had to be the 2022 World Cup. From another perspective, Belgium had missed their opportunity. At Euro 2016, they suffered a shock quarter-final defeat to Wales, and at the 2018 World Cup, they narrowly lost to eventual winners France in the semi-finals. Also at the 2020 Euro, they were evicted by eventual winners Italy. With these losses, it's believed that they have squandered their opportunities to win some trophies, because at those competitions, the team was much younger and more versatile. That might not be totally true, because psychologically, Belgium seems to perform best when they are written off. A long time ago, Belgium had some great footballers such as former Club Brugge star Jan Koolsman and Anderlecht legend Paul van Heerst, both of whom were regular Ballon d'Or contenders in the 1960s and 1980s respectively. And while the current so-called Golden Generation has achieved some success that had not been achieved in the nation's history, the 80s also were a fruitful period. They got to the final of 1980 European Championships and 6 years later in the 1966 World Cup, where they came fourth. Historically, this generation thrived amidst low expectations. Putting them side by side with this generation, it seems that the current generation's mentality has crossed from confidence to arrogance. This would explain the disappointing loss to Wales in the 2016 Euro. Some of them, especially the fans, had written off Wales and even booked to go to the semi-final, where they expected to humble Wales. It was the opposite that happened. After the game, some Belgian journalists that were interviewed considered that their major defender like Thomas Vermeulen and Vincent Kompany missed the game and had to be replaced by Jason Denayer and Jordan Lukaku. In their mind, they arrogantly thought even without their two best defenders, Wales couldn't stop them. They underestimated Wales, but accordingly to the precedents of their past success, such arrogance was very un-Belgian. All of their major success in past generations came when they've not been expected to do well. For example, when they were still playing the qualifiers ahead of the 1980 championship, a newspaper in Belgium wrote that they should disband the team because they were semi-professionals. In the same competition, they ended up reaching the finals. 6 years later, in the 1986 World Cup, they played terribly in the group stage. Everyone thought they were not going anywhere. In fact, the team had packed their bags to be on their next flight to Brussels because they thought they couldn't beat the USSR in the quarterfinal, but they did and moved to the semi-final. Contrary to this, at the 1954 World Cup in Switzerland, they had a pretty good team and people thought they could be the dark horse. Rather, they were made scapegoats by the other teams as they exited the tournament without winning a game. Also in 1970, when they also had their team filled with players from a successful Anderlecht side. Internal crisis between these overconfident Anderlecht players and others from Standard League led to massive underperformance that sent them out in the group stage. Back to the ugly story of their group stage exit in the 2022 World Cup. Similar issues of internal crisis were reported to have been part of the silent causes that derailed the golden generation. Ahead of their second group game against Morocco, Kevin De Bruyne said the team had missed the chance of winning the World Cup in 2018 as they were now old and there is no chance again. Captain Eden Hazard also believed similarly, meaning two of their best players didn't have high hopes. However, the statement did not go well with some other members of the squad like Jan Vertonghen. Not just that, it was reported that Kevin De Bruyne and Thibaut Courtois have not spoken for years after an issue involving De Bruyne's girlfriend and Thibaut Courtois ensued in 2014. In 2014, the girlfriends of the Manchester City midfielder had cheated on Kevin De Bruyne with his Belgian teammate Courtois. She said that it was payback of sorts after De Bruyne had admitted he had also cheated on her with her best friend. There was also the case of Eden Hazard and Leandro Trossard, who were not on talking terms. The same as strikers Romelu Lukaku and Michy Batshuayi, but like the De Bruyne-Courtois case, no reason has been given. It would be hard to see how much tension in the dressing room could produce miracles and cohesion on the field. It's now over. An era of legends and stars, it's over with no silverware. Beyond this, a lot is also wrong with Belgian FA, as there is yet to be definitive explanation for this remarkable renaissance. Strangers can easily give credit to their FA for producing such players, but looking more closely, it's not totally true. There is a certain man called Michael Zablon who was the technical director and organized the strategy of Belgian youth football. He has been doing a lot of work in re-engineering Belgium's youth football. But if you look at it, the majority of the squad in this generation developed either under teams like Ghent or Standard League. So it's really a situation where those teams are believed to have invested internally in their own youth facilities, and it does not really have anything to do with the Belgian FA. It seems that this is possibly the definitive end of an era that took Belgian football to the height it never reached. It may be difficult to have another team that would get to the level that this set of players has taken Belgium in the last 10 years, but it's not expected that there would be a decline that we saw 20 years ago. So, would you say it's coincidence, or how would you describe the story of the rise and fall of Belgium's golden generation? Let us know in the comment section.